everybody. Happy Wednesday. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rachel Ross, and I post over here at Essential Oils with Rachel Ross. I have been using essential oils and been a wellness advocate with doTERRA for 2 years now, over 2 years. I'm also a mom, and that's one of the main reasons why I got into essential oils. Of course, my phone's not going to like me today. That's one of the main reasons why I got into essential oils, because my kids, I felt like, were always sick, and I hated just putting so many bad things into their bodies, and I felt like I was always just putting them on antibiotics, and I was like, there's got to be something natural I can try, something I can try with these kids, that can help them and that's natural. So that's one of the main reasons that made me turn to essential oils. My kids are 6 and 4, my son's in 1st grade, and my daughter's in preschool, and they're both at school right now. And so they're my reason. They're why I love teaching about essential oils, because I was at mom in the middle of the night trying to figure out what to give my children, and I just love teaching others and teaching moms especially how to safely use these oils with their kids. So let's jump in. I'm going to go over today the best oils to use for kids, best products, and how to use them with your kids. So just going to go over really quickly how to use oils with children. 2 main ways is you're going to use them aromatically and topically. So aromatically can simply be just taking the cap off the bottle, having them smell and inhale, putting a drop in your hand and having them inhale, or putting them in an essential oil safe diffuser. So great for mood, great for respiratory support, great for sleep as well. And the kids can wear jewelry as well. There's essential oil jewelry that's great, diffuser necklaces, diffuser bracelets. So you can get those benefits while they're at school during the day. So that's how to use them aromatically. That's probably my favorite way to use them, especially around kids. Everybody can get the benefits from them at the same exact time. And I don't know, for me, it's just my kids have diffusers in each of their rooms. It's fun for them because they get to pick something very calming to put in their diffusers at night. So second way to use oils with kids is to use them topically, putting them directly onto the skin. With kids 6 and under, or if they have sensitive skin, using the same oils every single day, you do want to dilute your oils. We use fractionated coconut oil. I kind of talked about this in previous live posts, but you can use any vegetable-based oil. We make our own roller bottles, makes it really easy to use. When I first started out, I would put some of the essential oil, then I would put some of the carrier oil and then mix it on my hands and then put it on their feet, and it's just a mess. So I like making roller bottles. It makes them really easy to use. We get these from Amazon. You can get them pretty much, wherever. And so with kids, babies, you can do about 1 to 3 drops if they're about, 1 and under. 1 to 3 drops of essential oil. Fill the rest with the carrier oil. If it's for kids that are a little bit older, my kids are 6 and 4, I usually do about 5 to 8 drops of the essential oil. Fill the rest with the carrier oil. And then for myself, I tend to do a little bit more, about 15 to 25 drops. Kind of just depending on the oil, but you can just take the cap off and roll it right on. So topically, you can put it on kind of where you're needing it. If they're needing some digestive support, you can put it right on the abdomen. If they're needing some, help with ear support, right around the ears. Never inside of the ears, but right around. And we just recommend bottoms of the feet. I love doing spine, especially if it's for like mood or behavior. If my kids need a little bit of just calming down, I'll diffuse something calming, and then I'll roll it on the back of their spine. It's okay, Jamie. I was reading them as I was going. I should have told you I was going live. So yeah, topically is a great way to use it. doTERRA makes it really easy because they have touch oils that are already pre-diluted in rollers for you. And so it's got the top 9 oils, and then they're pre-diluted. Makes them really easy to just roll right on. They also have this with the 6 emotional aromatherapy oils as well. And so I love it. I love Peace. I'll talk about that one in a little bit, but Peace is like my favorite oil for kids. They have the emotional aromatherapy oils. So those are the 2 ways how to use the oils with kids. Now we're going to jump into the best products and oils for children. So big thing is just having a good nutritional base. I know for me, I try to feed my kids as healthy as possible, but let's be honest, they're kids. Sometimes pushing the vegetables doesn't always happen. Sometimes we're having grilled cheese and chicken nuggets, and it's just kind of part of life with little kids. So I love our A to Z chewable vitamins. They're watermelon flavored. My kids love them. And I know that, maybe if they're not eating as well as they probably should be, they're still getting those nutrients, those vitamins and minerals that are so important to use. There's also IQ Mega. And this is our fish oil. So it's really great for brain development, brain health. Very, very important, especially as kids are growing, that their brains are functioning at the optimum levels. So this is wild orange flavored. You can stick it in smoothies, you can stick it in water, you can just put it on a little spoon and have them just take it that way, kind of however you want. If you have to be a little more sneaky about it, smoothies is a good route to go. But fish oil is very important as well. And the thing that's made the biggest difference, I feel like, in my children's health the last year has been our children's probiotic. So this was released convention back in September, and my kids started using it as soon as we got home, and we haven't gotten off of it since. So it's our PB Assist Junior. It comes in a little sachet like this, and so we just cut it off, and they just take it like it's candy. They call it their candy vitamin. But you can add it to water, you can add it to smoothies, you can kind of put all this in a smoothie if that's the best way, if your kids are kind of picky about taking different supplements. But my kids love these. They beg for them every day. When we slack on taking these consistently, that's when I really, really notice that's when the sniffles start. I don't feel well. But if I'm consistent with taking these vitamins and the kids' probiotic, my kids have been so much healthier. Like I said, my son's in first grade, my daughter's in preschool 3 days a week, and so they're in school a lot more this year. And I was a little nervous about how it was going to be, but being consistent with this, having this good nutritional base, has helped immensely. So highly recommend those products if you have kids that are, I believe it's age 4 and up for the vitamins, but with the probiotic you can do just like half a little sachet for littler ones. All right, so let's jump into oils, the best oils for kids. If you have a baby, I really only recommend having lavender. Lavender is just very gentle, it's very calming, it's very soothing. We love it for sleep, but for kids, for babies, really, really little babies, all you really need is just lavender for pretty much everything. For, immune support, for sleep, for calming, for colic, digestive issues. Lavender is really the one you want to grab for. My kids, like I said, 6 and 4, they love having lavender in their diffusers. And it's also really great for skin. So for boo-boos, I'm talking like a mom here, so for boo-boos, owies, that sort of thing, we use a lot of lavender. It's just really gentle and very calming. And we also put it in the bath too, because my kids are crazy about baths. I don't know if anybody else's kids are like that, but my kids go crazy. I don't know what it is. Like, it's supposed to be calming, I feel like, before you go to bed, have a nice bath, but they get like ramped up crazy. So we've been putting lavender Epsom salts in their bath, and I feel like they've really calmed down quite a bit. All right, so another oil that's really good for kids is lemon. So lemon is really good for uplifting. It's really great for focus. So my first grader, he has homework this year, so we'll have him just kind of smell lavender, just to kind of help him, lemon, both oils, to just really focus and hone in on his homework. So lavender is also really good for respiratory support, especially in littles. If you are kind of, plugged up, stuck up, you can just put a little bit of lemon on the side of your nose, and it kind of just gets things moving and going. It's also great on the chest for little ones too, if they're just needing some extra respiratory support. For moms as well, this is great to clean with, especially if your kids love to put stickers and markers and pens and everything places they shouldn't. This is a great way to get that off of there. All right, next one I want to talk about is melaleuca. So this is commonly known as tea tree oil, if you've heard of that. It's a very gentle oil. It is multi-purpose oil, good for so many different things. It's a great oil for little ones for immune support. So you can just put it on the bottoms of their feet, roll it onto their spine. Great ways to use it for that. Also great for the skin. So I love to combine lavender and melaleuca in a spray bottle. So I'll just do about 5 drops of each, fill the rest with distilled water, and then we'll spray on any owies or boo-boos. And it's just great to put that on there and then put a Band-Aid on there. Just all natural, and it helps to really just get in there and get the bad stuff going our way. Melaleuca is also really good for ear support. So for my son, he had lots of issues with his ears. We almost had to give him tubes. And so having something natural, like I would have loved to have something natural to try on them when they were so little. I didn't know about oils until they were 4 and 2. And my pregnancies, when they were babies, my son was super fussy as a baby. And I was overwhelmed. I was a young mom and overwhelmed. So I wish I'd had these oils to turn to because they've helped immensely even when they're just 4 and 2. So with melaleuca, if your child wakes up in the middle of the night or saying, I'm having some ear pain, they probably won't say it as calmly as that, but you can just put melaleuca on the outside of the ear. So you can put it right here, You can just roll it on and put it right behind the ear, or you can stick on a little cotton swab or tissue and just stick it right outside of the ear. It has helped immensely for us. I know also when we fly with our kids, my son has a really hard time getting his ears to pop. So this is another oil you can use right in those areas for everybody. Just helps to open up those the tubes in the ear. Not exactly sure how it works, but it works really, 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 really well. And we have not had to be on antibiotics for anything ear related since using the oils. And we still definitely go to the doctor, still get checked out, all that good stuff. All right, next oil I'm going to talk about is frankincense. This is the king of all oils. It is a awesome oil. I use this a lot. I'll layer it a lot. So if for, let's say, for focus or for mood support or just for calming, I'll put the oil on and then I'll layer it with frankincense because it just really helps to drive it into the skin. This oil is great. We've been using this one a lot for nosebleeds. It is great for sleep. It is great for it's good for fine lines and wrinkles, but most kids don't have fine lines and wrinkles. We just use this a lot for like cellular support, and I use it a lot for respiratory support. If my kiddos are having a hard time, with breathing or anything, congestion, any sort of thing like that, I'll layer it with frankincense, just put it right on their chest, and that seems to really, really help a lot. So we say when in doubt, use frankincense. If you don't know what else to use, I usually grab the frankincense because it's worth a try, and it usually almost always does the trick. All right. I must have this upstairs. Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple of blends that are really good for kids as well. So let's see if I have it here. There we go. Okay, so deep blue. So my son is 6 and he is growing a lot. He's having lots of growing pains, waking up in the middle of the night, just having a lot of pain. Deep blue is really good for those growing pains. You can just roll it right onto the legs. It really helps. It's helped my son out a lot. I remember suffering from growing pains when I was little, and it's not fun at all. If kids have any, head tension, anything with that, you can either try the deep blue. I would try lavender first, just to see how that works for them. And if that doesn't seem to do much, I would then try probably the deep blue on kiddos, just right on the temples and on the forehead right here. All right, so this oil has saved us multiple times. This is Digestin. This is the digestive blend. I hate that in the middle of the night or, in the morning, my tummy doesn't feel good. Those are like the scariest words to me because I do not like any sort of vomit or just digestive issues are just no fun for me. So this oil is awesome. And so the great thing about oils is you can apply them as often as needed. So if you have a kiddo that just doesn't feel well, you can rub the Digestin topically onto the abdomen. You can do it clockwise, and you can apply it as often as needed. I've had kids that have been, laying on the couch not feeling well, and I'll keep reapplying. They call it their tummy oil. I'll keep reapplying the tummy oil, and then, within a couple applications are up, they're wanting to eat again or drink, and up and playing. So if you have kids that have any sort of digestive issue, so going too often or can't go or just don't feel well generally, this is a great oil to have on hand. So my kids don't love the smell of this. It smells like black licorice. It's got the fennel and anise in there, which are great for digestive support, but the smell's a little different for some. We'll combine it in a roller bottle with wild orange, and it just kind of helps to cut it down. It's good for immune support as well, and good for mood as well. So you can kind of shortcut things because sometimes it just doesn't, kiddos don't like the smell of these. So that's why bottoms of the feet is great. Putting them over socks, that way they can't smell it. All right, so another one to talk about is Breathe. This is our respiratory blend. So this is pretty much, better for kids that are a little bit older, maybe, 1.5 and up, because most things you can solve really with lavender, frankincense, and melaleuca. But this one is great for respiratory support. Anytime my kiddos have anything respiratory going on, we're going to throw this in the diffuser right next to their beds. It helps so much with just respiratory support, naturally opening up the airways, making it a little bit easier to breathe, especially at nighttime, because I feel like that's when you have most issues. It's also great on the chest. So you can rub it right on the chest topically. Obviously, you want it to dilute if they're under the age of 6. And you can also put it on the bottoms of their feet as well. It's a great way to do that for respiratory support. One little trick that I've done with my kiddos is I put a drop of the Breathe, which is a respiratory blend, in my hand. I rub it together, and I create a little funnel, and I have them come up and inhale, and it just helps to open up their airways. So I do it for myself too, and it just really helps to open things up. All right, one that I have upstairs because I was using it last night is On Guard. And this is our protective blend. It's got wild orange, it's got clove, which is really high in antioxidants, rosemary, eucalyptus, and cinnamon. And so this is an oil you do want to dilute. It is a hot oil, so you do want to heavily dilute, especially with kids. Or you can just buy doTERRA's On Guard roller, touch roller, because it's already pre-diluted for you. This is great. This is what has honestly kept us out of the doctor's office for the majority of the time the last 2 years. I no joke, 2 years ago my kids were in the doctor's office like every month. It would feel like we were in there almost every week, like alternating. Yes, my kids still do get sick, but it's not as bad. It's not quite as severe, and it doesn't turn into the things that it used to turn into. I can't tell you the difference that my phone there, okay, that we've just experienced with it. This is the oil that made me a huge believer that essential oils really do work, because seeing them, knowing how they used to be, and now they're in school and they're encountering germ after germ after germ. So this is an oil we use every single day. I will diffuse it at least once a day. If they're been around people that are unwell, if I hear about maybe a child that's sitting next to them in class and hasn't been very healthy, we will diffuse it more often. We'll diffuse it in their bedrooms. I roll it during cold and flu season. We'll roll it on the bottoms of their feet every single day, just kind of part of their bedtime routine. And I noticed a huge difference. The vitamins plus the On Guard has made quite the difference, especially even in the last 6 months for my entire family. So highly, highly recommend that you have this oil, especially during this time of year. There's lots of yucky things floating around. All right, so I'm going to talk about three of the mood oils really quick. Serenity is our restful blend. And so this is, my son calls it his sleep oil. It helps him sleep the best. He puts it in his diffuser, sometimes combined with lavender. It does have lavender in there, but it's just a very calming oil for him. We put on the bottoms of his feet as well. And it just helps him sleep really well. It seems like everybody kind of has their own little sleep oil that helps them sleep the best. For some it's lavender, some it's serenity, some it's balance. And so balance is the grounding blend. It's very, very calming. I love balance and serenity together. So when I started out using oils, my son was 4, my daughter was 2, and we had just moved here to Colorado Springs. So it was a time of adjustment, a time of transition, lots of tantrums, a lot of stuff on my plate, I feel like, because kids were just, reacting to their new environment. And so I started using balance and serenity together. I would roll it on their spine, and I can't tell you the difference it's made. Even my husband, like if they're being really hyper and running around, he'd be like, go grab the balance and serenity. And we call it the liquid calm. And so we'll just roll it on their spine, and really it just helps to calm them down. I use it for myself a lot as well. I love these two together. But some people tend to prefer one, serenity over balance. Some people love them together. Just kind of personal preference. But if you have young kids that are kind of tantrumy, this is a great blend to try. Another one I don't have on me either because that's up in the room is the blend Peace. So when I started, they had this blend on Pinterest called Peaceful Child. And so I would make it all the time. And doTERRA kind of caught on, and part of their emotional aromatherapy blends was this Peace. And so my son calls it his cry oil. If he's just having, so many emotions. His grandma was here for about 10 days, and she just had to leave, and he just was very, very upset. So he uses his cry oil to kind of just help him, give him a little bit of peace, and it just helps him to kind of calm him down. 2 more oils that I want to talk about that are good for kind of specific things as far as kids go. One is cypress. And so cypress, if you have a child that is potty training, cannot make it through the night without urinating in the bed, having some bedwetting issues. Cypress over the bladder, you do want to dilute, but cypress over the bladder is really good for bladder control. I started using this when my daughter was potty trained during the day, but not at night. Started consistently using that, and that really, really helped her. She would have more dry pull-ups at night than not. And so highly recommend that if that's an issue you have with your children at all. And the last one I'm going to talk about is juniper berry. My kids get night terrors sometimes. They get nightmares. I don't love being woken up in the middle of the night with screaming children because of nightmares. It's scary. So juniper berry is a really good oil to try if your kids get nightmares frequently. So you can either put this on the bottoms of their feet, you can stick it in their diffuser. Sometimes I'll do lavender and juniper berry, where I tend to notice that when my kids are overtired, that's when they're having the nightmares and the night terrors. So this oil helps a lot. It's crazy. And they'll sometimes ask for it too. They'll ask for it by name because they want, they don't want to have nightmares just as much as I don't want them to have nightmares. So That's about it. I mean, every oil is really good for kids, but these are just the top ones that I recommend, the ones that I've used the most with my kids. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in here. I've enjoyed doing these live series. I hope you are as well. Yeah, I will be on here hopefully very, very soon with another new topic. If there's anything you'd like me to go over, please comment and let me know as well. All right, have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.